The Japanese Eastern qualifier was this weekend, and it is time to talk about what happened on their side of the game. So, what is up, guys? You're loving Dictator 40 here, aka Boo Robbie. Sky Striker, and Sky Striker should be real no shocker to you guys when you're looking at the OCG metagame pre-ban list. And I do gotta say, damn Japan, you've really intrigued me. So we're gonna have a nice little discussion about this. So, as of course, let's dig into this, shall we? Japan Sky Striker should come as no real shocker to you guys, being the best deck, unless you're living underneath some rock and you missed the death of XXX Tenacious. God, I can never pronounce things correctly. So yeah, real damn shame. But unless you've been in the Hyperbolic Time Chamber and you've missed this, Japan Sky Strikers in a massive blowout on the east side of their game. Some real interesting things came out of this. Now, the first major thing is, much like the TCG, we've started to see a rising pull of popularity in the OCG for Shared Ride. Now, Shared Ride is one of those cards that the TCG, I've heard differing opinions on. And Shared Ride is a fantastic card. Being able to add off of every time your opponent adds, it's really just the bullshit maker that makes the world literally go round for Sky Striker players. Now, the OCG does have Maxi, which Shared Ride capitalizing on a little bit more value in that grand scheme of things. But if you're going into a tournament and your mentality is, I'm going to play Sky Striker Mirror, Sky Striker Mirror, Sky Striker Mirror. Alright, Shared Ride gives you a little bit more value. Also, the Trickstar engine on their side of the game is a little bit more impacted by limitations that they've got going for them. So that's one less thing in the grand scheme of things you're going to have to worry about. But Shared Ride creates this amazing game state generator that allows you to essentially keep up with all of the advantage that your opponent is generating. It literally becomes a battle of resources when you're playing the Sky Striker Mirror. It's very unhealthy in terms of the way that the OCG looks at their Sky Striker deck, because just the pure, like, destructive analysis of it, like, OCG Sky Strikers, like, give me actual, like, a headache watching them. But Shared Ride seems to be one of the bigger trends that they've kind of built into their decks to kind of give them an edge over it. Now, the side deck coming out of this event was absolutely disgusting. I actually didn't think much about this. So the OCG was playing Swift Scarecrow. Now, I don't know how many of you guys know about Swift Scarecrow. It's a very old card. It's on the levels of hand traps, being able to discard it on X attack to ensure that you won't be losing your monster. One of the things that it tends to do for you is prevent a scenario in which, you know, your monster's going to die. So when your opponent's monster declares a direct attack, you can discard this card, negate that attack, and then end the battle phase. And it is, of course, a quick effect. So basically what you're getting out of this is you're getting the ability to maintain less damage, less impactful things. A lot of people will steal your monsters, move them out of the way with the Widow Anchor to push for that additional damage. And that's one of the things that your opponent won't get to do if you've got Swift Scarecrow. In a perfect world where damage means everything to you, having a card built in for the mirror match definitely makes your life a whole lot better. So Swift Scarecrow is one of the more impactful side choices that the OCG has started adapting. The next one is actually One Day of Peace. I'm a little bit more indifferent towards this as an actual side deck option. Preventing damage being dealt to you from the opponent's opposition definitely puts things into a more interesting perspective, because you can punch your opponent for damage, take advantage of the situation, and then main phase 2, draw an additional resource. In the Sky Striker Mirror, pure advantage doesn't really mean a lot going for you. But when you're in similar game state where you're resolving multiple copies and resetting just all these effects off of multi-roll, being able to infinitely recur advantage through these things. Advantage given through 1-for-1 doesn't seem too bad in the grand scheme of things. But overall, having one more card to essentially slow down the game state in your favor actually seems to be working out relatively well for the OCG. So I will give them that. They've got a lot of preventative action cards going for them in the OCG. One Day of Peace being another one of these fantastic ones. And then lastly, in terms of effects that they're using to slow down their metagame, Threatening Roar is another one of the rather more interesting ones. So Threatening Roar is much like Swift Scarecrow. God, they're up to like 7 preventative action cards. You've got Swift Scarecrow, you've got One Day, and you've got Threatening Roar. Also, Threatening Roar being chainable also kind of grants it a little bit more for it than other outs. But Threatening Roar gives you another chainable action to ensure that you basically can tell your opponent to fuck off when you're playing. So Threatening Roar also being chainable, so if they do jamming waves or afterburner, you'll be able to chain it to ensure that you can basically say, by the way, you won't be able to get that attack off. You'll ensure that your monster will be safe. I don't know, making sure that your rays can recur back from the field are very important for the grand scheme of things. Ah, God, fucking Sky Strikers. Like, for the amount of hate that they are citing to make sure that their monsters stay on the field, it's actually pretty incredible. Outside of that, one copy of Unending Nightmare in the side. I don't particularly like this one. Unending Nightmare doesn't seem too good to me. I get you're trying to use it on the multi-roll to ensure that the monsters that you create actually, will stick. You don't want your opponent getting too much advantage off of it. And if you've had Unending on the field, it'll draw another target to, allow your opponent to hit it. But all for all, the outs that the first place were playing to ensure that they would be good enough basically for the metagame seemed pretty well. Second place was playing Psyframe Gear Gamma. We've seen Gamma kind of come up a little bit more, especially on, the European side of the game. Gamma, I don't know, having to play Driver as another brick already sucks. I already hate having to deal with one dead card in my deck, but I guess another one of brick won't really hurt me. Also, being able to stop your opponent's hand traps when you're playing around Maxi and things like that, something that you need to massively consider. Maxi doesn't really hurt you that much, but it's more like the Ghost Ogre and the Veilers and things like that that can really do something. But I guess you can still tribute Ray as cost. I don't know. It doesn't really hurt as much as you would think it would. But it definitely goes to show, coming out of the OCG side of the game, things like Threatening Roar, Swift Scarecrow, more of these effects that delay your opponent from destroying your monster appear to be the more appropriate way to go. Just making it more difficult for your opponent to get over your shit, not allowing them to capitalize on their endgame. Also, the fact that Boral Sword actually exists in the OCG is a pretty good thing in the long run. I definitely think, in the grand scheme of things, that overall, Threatening Roar could probably be something that I think we're going to see in terms of the OCG. Coming to the TCG for the WCQ here later in the month. Just purely because end-of-match procedures are a real pain in the ass. Might even actually see people trying to adapt Gaga Cowboy to their decks. We don't have the cool needle fiber OTKs that the OCG does, so there is that. But overall, I would just be aware that if you get Swift Scarecrow or One Day of Peace, you're probably going to be crying yourself to sleep as the end of match procedures are rolling in to kind of fuck you. It's kind of amazing just how much one side of the game can adapt to the next. It's almost like there are 3 different games of Yu-Gi-Oh! So that's all I've got for this video today, guys. Please thank my wonderful mother for coming home early. And, well, that's all I got. Tell me what you guys think down below in the comment section. And that's all I got, guys. Peace. The ride never ends, guys. Make sure you enable those notifications to get the latest videos that are being posted on this channel. Make sure you guys check out VanCole40 for my Cardfight Vanguard channel. And join me and House of Champions on the Zodiac Duelist TV Twitch stream. We'll be interacting with our audiences. And please check out No Limit Gaming and LGTCG.com for the cheapest trading cards on the market. Thanks for watching, guys, and please have a good day.